Aren't we getting a little closer to internet from space?
Yes, actually, and we have some great updates on this too.
Internet
Do
too.
you guys? So as you know, Starlink. Let's start off with just the launch itself. Last night, I went out on the beach and just watched a launch as a casual observer, and it was fantastic. I'm not gonna lie, it was great. I had never just watched a rocket launch from the beach like that. But sorry, there's like I'm basically just gonna give us the old. Go ahead.
I was gonna say afterwards we were like, why am I going through all this hassle? This was awesome.
Like, it honestly was great. I would love like a launch from the beach is cool, especially at night. Like the whole sky lights up, it reflects off the water. Yeah. It was really pretty. So last night, SpaceX launched. It was the 7th operational Starlink mission on, of course, a Falcon 9. We know the routine by now. Falcon 9, 60 satellites, yada, yada, yada. But one of the cool things is this was the 5th flight of this booster, and it was the 5th landing of the booster. So that is now the record setter is 5, which
yeah,
is
they
awesome.
very confusingly said it was the first landing for the 5th time.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? Okay.
Yeah. The first time they've landed for the 5th time.
You're turning 21 for the 10th time.
90% of the time, it works 10% of the time.
But if you look here, the feed didn't cut out either. The landing feed, they have a stable connection now. Is awesome. Really cool to see that. So congrats on that end of things. The other thing so SpaceX even showed, they didn't tweet it, but I've got you covered. They even showed the actual. There's those 2 rods on each side of these stacks that hold onto the pins and stuff or whatever, like hold onto the satellites. They showed it this time, and they've never shown it before. So here it goes. Bing.
Whoa. I must go and be with my people.
Isn't that pretty cool though? I've never seen.
It's like a grenade pin just flying out.
Yeah, it's really long though. This thing is the height of the fairing basically, so it's
10
really
meters.
Big. Yeah, so it's really, really big, and it's for those of you just listening. It's basically like like I said, there's 27, but it's also kind of 2-sided. It almost looks like how would you describe it? Like almost like I don't know how to describe that.
A V.
Kind of like a V, but that's also
like a paperclip.
If you guys are familiar with furniture design, it's like a hairpin leg.
Yeah,
exactly.
Or it looks like take a tube, a long tube, cut it in half, and then get rid of most of it except for like 2 rods and have just a couple arches down the middle of it, because that's really kind of.
I don't think that helps at all.
Braces?
Just go check it out on Tim's Twitter.
There you go. Yep. But we did finally see the release of the pin, the mechanism that holds all the satellites together. Really cool to see that. And let's see what else. So 5th landing. We haven't heard about the fairings. I don't think they caught the fairings unless I missed it this morning or something. But yeah, it was an awesome mission. And one of the things that's cool is this was also the first launch that had one of the satellites that had the sunshade on it. And SpaceX made this update. And this, guys, you should just read through this. I guess this was April 28th. I don't know how I missed it. Wait, what is it? April, May, June. I missed this from like a month and a half ago. But
how dare you?
How dare me? But SpaceX made this really cool update explaining how they're improving on Starlink from being, a pester to the night sky. And they've made some significant changes. So here's one of the big ones. During orbit rays, the brightness is mostly because here's a good example. The sun hits the more that's facing like parallel to the Earth, the more there is a chance to reflect off the sun. So if they can put the solar array on the top like a shark fin, as opposed to like down, like you imagine you have a book laying down on the table, and if the book's laying down, that means there's a lot of stuff to be able to reflect back down on Earth. But if you have, say, one of those, that book, folded up upright like a shark fin, sitting on the table, there's a lot less surface area to reflect off of. So they're changing some of the ways that they deploy these. They're changing some of the initial orbits so they don't have to sit in those positions that are highly reflective as long. They're also changing the dark sats. They change how bright the bottom part of the satellites are.
MKBHD is correct. Matte black everything.
Matte black everything. Exactly. They're changing the roll after after the satellite gets initially put in, during the orbit raise, they're going to phase them and rearrange the direction of which the solar panel is facing, again, to reduce reflectivity. And finally, they now have visor set. It's basically these little, just like almost your car, when you have those sunshades on your car, these little, flaps that are going to fold down and prevent sunlight from hitting the antenna and preventing reflections. So they're making
people always wanted to know if Tesla and SpaceX would collaborate. There you go.
They literally just put up Tesla sunshades.
If they wouldn't work in that case. So
this is a long, really highly detailed page to really explain. There's like 4 major things that they're doing to help reduce the visibility, and they think they can get it down. Their goal is to get it below 7, so it's impossible to see with the naked eye at any time, even at the worst times. So that's huge. That kind of, to me, solves a lot of those complaints that, people are always saying, it's going to ruin the night sky, blah, blah,
Astronomers rejoice.
Yeah, it sounds like they're making really, really big steps to not have this be an issue, like we hoped they would. Yeah. But really cool. Another huge, successful launch, guys. Congrats, SpaceX, on a huge week. Jeez. Can you believe they just launched Saturday and then they launched again Wednesday?
That's why I was like, wait, what? They launched again?
And they landed both. So that means they have both drone ships going again. So lately on the East Coast, they've always just been using, of course, I Still Love You, but they upgraded Just Read the Instructions with newer station-keeping propeller thrusters and have that all. So that actually went out. This was its maiden launch, or maiden landing, I guess, for the drone ship on the East Coast in a long time.
What about
5 years?
So the camera, except for that one, always cuts out when it lands, which just breeds conspiracy theorists, of course. But have they thought, because is there a crew on the ship, or a crew is nearby on a different ship? Because there has to be somebody there to.
The crew is about 10 miles away on a different ship.
I would imagine they would want to keep clear.
But I was just thinking, if they wanted to solve for that, which I imagine they have a lot of things, this is maybe not the highest priority, but if so, they could just kind of have a separate camera ship nearby. You know what I mean? Either with the person on it or not, but that way you get the shot of it landing on it, not from the thing, but from nearby, so you can see it, come in.
They've done that before.
Yeah, they've done it before. Yeah,
there's a few shots out there from somewhere else where they catch it from a distance landing. No, it was cool when it didn't lock out, because every time it locks out, I'm like, that I know what they're gonna say now.
Yeah,
I know what the crazies are gonna say.
But you know what always confuses me about that? Why would they think?
Or return to the launch pad landing,
Well, obviously that. But are they really suggesting that SpaceX every time botches okay, now switch to this shot? Why wouldn't they just show that they have the footage of the booster landing, right? We've all seen published, high quality footage of the booster landing. If SpaceX wanted to fake it, they could just hit play on that. Are they suggesting that every time they're like, okay, hey, switch feeds. Hey, go to the shot where you're too late. There's always that awkward 8-second phase between our producer hitting the button. They can just show that.
But there are people that believe that the rocket, they actually never even launch rockets.
Yeah,
I think they're like balloons.
Well, I mean that what we have seen in person wasn't real. It's a Bruce Almighty thing, and there's a giant LCD screen there or something. How would you fake that? I don't understand it.
You mean Truman Show?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, what did I say?
Bruce Almighty.
Bruce Almighty.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
We got it though.
There was a good question. Hope for Gorilla in our Discord did ask if they've done landings in the Pacific, and for those of you that haven't been around for SpaceX for a while, they have done many landings in the Pacific with Just Read the Instructions. Obviously, they just don't launch nearly as many on the West Coast, because those are missions from Vandenberg Air Force Base. And those missions always are just polar orbit based, so they go straight south from Vandenberg. They land on the drone ship there. They even one time had to land on the drone ship just off the coast, only literally 10 miles or 16 kilometers off the coast, because they didn't have permission to land back at the landing site. I think Oh, it was because there is already a national reconnaissance, like there's a high security payload sitting at the Air Force with a Delta IV Heavy. Like they had a rocket out on the pad, and they didn't want another rocket coming back in from space, like, you know, anywhere near it. So they made them land like 10 or 15 miles away so it didn't overfly the other rocket, which makes sense when you have about a $500 million rocket and a $1 billion satellite or something, you know. Yeah, small note, but yeah, they have. I remember the first landing attempt on the West Coast was Jason 3, and I think it was 2016, and that was the one where it landed totally landed, and one of the landing legs didn't like click into place, so it just slowly leaned over and blew up on the deck.
I remember that.
Very sad.
That was awesome.
Yep, yeah, but there's been a handful. There's been a handful of of West Coast landings.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this clip from our show. If that's just not enough for you and you want to watch the full episode, you can go to olfpod.com/YT.
And if you want more from us, you can consider becoming a Patreon member. You'll get early access to episodes. You can join our awesome community. You can actually watch us record live and get your name in the credits by going to olfpod.com/Patreon.
So thanks everyone for watching. Check back every Friday for new clips here and new episodes on the main channel.
Thanks, everybody.